Hey, seems gonna be a windy one, but I'll say indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much for joining me here again. An opportunity, a moment, an intention to share social currency. You know, that's what I want to talk about today. Hey, I was saying that, dude, Tate, I was literally on your profile today. I noticed that you didn't answer my Discord message, so I was like, wonder if Tate has been taking a little bit of a break. Went and checked on your profile to find that you have been. I hope it's been treating you well, brother. Hey, do share how it's been. You say you're returning tomorrow. Oh, that sounds amazing, man. Morning to you, Naren. Thank you for joining us, brother Bear. Peppy, what you doing? She's eating grass right now, Toast. Like she's really like she's eating it. Like she's going back for second bites. Tate, hope your break has been divine. I hope so as well, man. Genuinely, it has. Looking forward to returning tomorrow. We look forward to having you again, Tate. And I feel it's very fitting that you're here for today's stream because it's pretty much going to be on point with what we're doing. You know, what we've been trying to do and what it takes from us to do this. So to lay down the base, you know, the foundation of what we want to talk about today. This idea in me is basically that we all are infinitely wealthy with this thing that we can call social currency. The caveat is that we think or we believe that this social currency runs out as currency runs out in the normal world. But the only thing that our social currency requires is a devotion of time. And technically, time can be seen as a type of currency. The whole time is money saying is very big in the world. But this social currency that we are in this moment sharing with one another, we're sharing that social currency from a place of infinity as well. Like we are not going to run out. We cannot run out, but it can be something that is almost like a muscle that we train. And like any other muscle, it can be fatigued if it is overtrained and not given appropriate rest. So that's what I want to talk about today, about this social currency that we can exchange with one another. I want to talk about our interpretation, our view of it being scarce. I want to talk about how we choose to invest this social currency. You know, we all do it in different ways. Me and Tate, what would you say we do? We chat, I guess. You know, but it is a social currency that we give. Some people draw. I think Jem is drawing right now. Some people, you know, share. Like I'm thinking about PB right now. I think PB chats a lot as well. Sometimes he makes some music. It's a social currency that we're trying to, you know, give to the world. And if both of us don't show up, then technically there can be no exchange, you know, of this currency. And you can think of this exchange in a lot of different ways. You can think of it as a smile, just a basic smile, you know, towards another person. Sometimes we'll find ourselves in a space, you know, of a bunch of other people, and it will be difficult, you know, to feel connected with them, or it can be a real sense of anxiety almost in feeling what we're supposed to be doing in that space. And then we'll find people looking at us in that space, and we can either do one of two things. We can think, to ourselves that there's something wrong with us, and this, onlook, if you will, is a judgment of us, or we can look back, and then by looking back, by basically taking the social part of yourself and connecting in a social way with another person, suddenly there is an exchange. There's a loop that gets continued. And in the continuation of that loop, information can be exchanged with one another, even if it's just you and another person staring at one another from across the room. Maybe as like a little smirk. Maybe you're looking at what they're wearing, maybe you look at the way they, posture themselves, their body language, the way they emote, and we can exchange these social currencies with one another infinitely. It doesn't cost us anything, but we stop ourselves from giving ourselves fully in that way. And I feel this is a very good thing worth saying in alignment with what we're talking about today. It goes, fear arises from the thought, I am alone, separated from my creator. Yet in reality, it is the creator perceiving the creator and creating the perception that God is separate from God. As in, you find yourself in this environment that is God as well, all of the other individuals, God as well, and then you imagine yourself, you perceive yourself to be separate, but it is just God perceiving itself to be separate. And by closing that loop, by breaking that illusion of separation, and instead moving into unity, moving into communication, moving into connection with one another, we basically create something new. We create something of an exchange that we can give back and forth to one another. And this energetic exchange, I believe, I believe that it has implications on scales further than this world, intergalactic, interdimensional, multidimensional impact, just by sharing love with one another. And then one more before I close the little book. It goes, each particle of God holds the potential of the whole. And then a way to visualize this is think about two pencils on either side of a table, identical. They look exactly the same. Even though the pencils are identical, they occupy two different points of space. Okay? So both of them have the potential to be all of it. They're technically the exact same thing, in the way that we can visualize a pencil. We can see it has a little point, it has little lines on it, it has a piece of lead in the middle, has a point encapsulating it. But in the same way that we can visualize and think about a pencil, we can visualize and think about a human being as well. And because we find ourselves separated in this way, where I am me and you are you, we have this illusion, this idea of separation, to the point where we hold on to it. We want to stay separated. And it is weird because a part of us does want to be separated. That's why we're here. There is spaces within the whole where unity is a lot more, let's say, realized. There is a certain level of unity in, for instance, the spiritual space, because everything occupies everything, and everything has access to everything, and everything is intermingling with everything. There's a web of relationship happening there as well, but it's very fast-paced, it's very chaotic, it's very beautiful, but things don't have the luxury of happening, if you will, where in this realm of existence things do have the luxury of happening. A bird chirps, and that frequency hits my ears, and I can be aware of that. And then in the next instance, there's another bird that does the same thing. There's some bugs, there's wind kind of rustling the leaves, and there are these instances of moment by moment happening that we can experience in this separation. But the crazy thing is that within this separation, connecting with one another is the one place where we feel the most fulfilled. And that's why we're doing this, right? That's why we're in this space. That's why we're sharing this social currency with one another. I appreciate you, friends, so much for utilizing your wealth for the creation of the world. Thank you. Honestly, thank you. K8 is joining us. Isaac as well says, interesting conversation. Glad I'm here, friends. Glad to have you, friend. Please do share your thoughts, your interpretation of this message as well. Gavity Goo, thank you for the love, my dude. Thank you for the wholesome enigma. That's very nice of you, friend. And morning, Kelly. Thank you for joining us, my friend. It's nice to have you here. Good day, friends. Ryan joined us as well. Me and him have a phone call coming up very soon. There's some things in the working. I look forward to sharing it with you, friends. I'm drunk at 10 a.m. and I need help. Impossible I. Remember that you can breathe. Remember that you have been breathing, your entire life, and every single difficulty that you've been through, you have been able to breathe through. So just continue, my friend. Continue. It's a Sunday. Be drunk at 10 a.m. if you need to. I agree, man. Thanks to hallucinogens. The hallucinogens help you, if anything, friend, but they aren't the be-all, end-all. Like that's the thing as well. The way you take hallucinogens completely affect the experience. If you take them with the intention to get fucked up, then guess what? You're gonna get fucked up. If you take them with the intention to explore, what's going on inside, if you take them with the intention to connect to loved ones, if you take them with the intention to, experience, this beauty that we call life, then you can have those experiences as well. What we don't realize is that we're the ones creating, giving ourselves in this moment these experiences. You being here means that you've chosen to have this experience. And not only in this stream, not only in this day where you are, not only in this life, not only on this planet, not only in this universe, but all of it. All of it. All of it. Like the entire infinity as it is as you've chosen it to be. And we're continually choosing. Like it's not a choice that stops. That's the trip. That's what makes it so beautiful. That's what makes it, this continually fractaling universe, and it's beautiful. Well, this guy's retarded. I might be. I did almost die as a kid, so. I say almost. I flatlined for a while as a baby because I drowned, and the doctors brought me back, so I might have mild brain damage, who knows. I spend social currency for the greater good. That you do when it rains. Thank you, friends, for spending your social currency in a way that matters, not only to yourself, but in a way that can matter to other people as well. What's in the cup? Some water, friend. There's water in this, and there's water in the cup. This cup is called Hermes Plur. Hermes meaning God uplifts, Plur meaning peace, love, unity, and respect. And I don't believe in a Christian God. I just believe in the encapsulation of what the word God means to every single human being. This thing that is larger than life. But what I believe in the same breath is that you are that thing as well. Like there's no separating yourself from it. So by calling this cup Hermes Plur, I've basically created this set of instructions in my head where every single time I take a sip, I think God uplifts, peace, love, unity, and respect. Love to you, friends. That's some good water. Man, like the grass is very uneven. My cup already tipped over. Gonna use my flip-flop. Sick. Stay a while and take a load off. Please do, friend. Try this in a job interview. For my friend, the crazy part is that I'm actually, I want to say, allowed to do what I love. I don't need a job anymore. Dude, it's muted for me. There's a little button down here, friend, you can press. What did I just stumble upon and read it this early? Feel for yourself, friend. I don't try to label things. This is a space in which we share love. You're talking about Hinduism ideas. I guess. I'm not trying to pretend like these ideas are originally mine and I'm this Giga Chad, galactical brain that's coming up with all of these genius ideas. No, absolutely not. I'm like infinitesimally small human being that's trying to share a beautiful experience with other beautiful beings. I appreciate you sharing this time with me, friend. What if the person is fat? Is it fair to tell the to what to fold them? I guess you mean call them a pencil. My friend, even if a person is fat, fundamentally they're still the exact same as you are. They might have a harder time moving around. They might have some compromised health, but essentially the way they see their own hands, if they look at their own hands, the way they look out into this universe, the sounds, being absorbed as the little wavelengths hit their eardrums, the feeling of the skin as you rub your hands against each other, the feeling of your clothes on your body right now, where you're standing or where you're sitting. These things, these awarenesses are fundamental to every single one of us. And if we can recognize that those base level experiences are the same, then we can see this other person exactly the same way that we see ourselves, as awareness, as God encompassed in a single human being. That's what I mean by calling people pencils, friend. The guy took 5 tabs and got lost in Rick and Morty. Outer Oracle. The nice thing is that I don't even need to take 5 tabs to be where I am right now. Are you Dutch? Nee, ek is Afrikaans. Ampers is Dutch, maar nie heeltemal nie. Are you familiar with the world of forms? Yes, I am, friend. I find myself in the middle of the world of forms right now. This is beautiful. No, you. Thank you, friend, for joining us and for sharing love. Opioid Fiend. Interesting username. Thanks, dude. Connecting with others is so important, and I appreciate you connecting with us, friend. Thank you for sharing your insight as well. Have a great day, man. You too, Jofra. Doesn't evolution dictate that we stay separated? We are individual competitors. Are we competitors, friend? I feel the masculine dominant mindset that we have been practicing as a society has kind of ingrained in us this understanding of competition, especially because men in our world kind of do have to compete for certain things in this world. Testosterone has driven us into this competitive mindset, and we consider everything to be competing, when in fact things are co-creating. Things aren't competing with one another. The bug eating the plant isn't the plant competing for survival with the bug. They are codependent. Like those two things exist for one another, because of one another. I'm breathing oxygen right now, exhaling carbon dioxide. This tree that I'm looking at is breathing carbon dioxide, exhaling oxygen. So there is a symbiosis that's happening between me and the rest of the web of relationship, between me and you, friend. We're not competing with one another, we're co-creating with one another. Love your vibe, and I love you. Thank you, friend. Just woke up to this. I hope it rings true in your head, my friend. Take it with you for the rest of the day. Mel, the small child is waving at you. Hey, little small child, waving right back at you, friend. Live life happy, if you can, friend. Or at least live life in a way where other people are happy to be with you. And I'm not suggesting that you become a people pleaser. I'm not suggesting that you jump at the whims of other people. But if you're in a space with other people, they should be happy to be in a space with you. And it's difficult to do that realistically. So I'll give you a bit of human behavior to ponder. We as human beings set each other up to make them feel the way we feel. And if you are doing things in an environment to make people feel a certain way because that's the way you feel, and they feel badly as you might be feeling, you shouldn't be surprised that there is going to be bad feelings, there's going to be bad things being said. But then unfortunately, because we've created these environments, things spawn from these environments. Because we've used our social currency in a certain way, we get paid dividends on the stuff that we put into this world. And sometimes we put stuff into this world that we don't want back. So that's a question you have to ask yourself. If you're putting stuff into this world, do you want those stuff back? Especially when it comes to haters or negative comments. I don't even see them as negative comments. I just see this person lamenting against the universe, angry, sad sometimes even, being like, why? Why do I keep putting bad information out and I keep getting bad information back? It's so bad. Bad, 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 bad. Stop doing it. It's not that difficult, but stop. Very interesting. You sound like Kit Harington. Thank you, Glad Plane. I wish we could have such weather. Enjoy it. I just stumbled on your live stream and it's awesome. Payful. It's so nice to have you here, friend. Thank you. It is nice weather. The clouds are beautiful. It's hot, but it's not that hot. We had like maybe 2 minutes of rain, suddenly like it was quiet and then just shh, and I was like, what the hell? Took my earphones off and I'm like, oh, it's just rain. And then 2 minutes later it was gone again. Now we have these clouds. Great weather, dude. Yeah, so crazy. Thank you for joining us, friend. It's nice to have you here. If I take them in a depressive state, then sheesh, it's a rough ride, a real one, but rough. You're right, friend. You're so right. And I'm happy that you're aware of that at least. And I'm happy that you're willing to call it that. Like, it's a rough ride because that's the one you took for yourself. If you're in a certain mindset, let's imagine you as the roller coaster, right? And we can all agree that we've been through roller coasters of emotions before in our lives. So you as roller coaster, if you are riding a roller coaster within yourself of sadness, of depression, of what is the point of all of this, and you bring that roller coaster into the environment of other people or into your own mindset over and over again, then you're gonna stay on that roller coaster. In fact, you're gonna employ other people to ride this roller coaster with you. So what roller coaster do you want to ride? We're always going to be riding a roller coaster. And I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't be feeling badly about things. Like 2 days ago, I was literally in this same space crying my eyes out because I was feeling badly about something. I'm not pretending that bad emotions don't exist. What I'm suggesting is when you are in a social environment, when you have the ability to influence other beings, try to influence them positively. Try to use your social currency to create more of that social currency. Because if you in an attempt to make someone happy, to make someone smile, to make someone's day succeed, then they will have more social currency intrinsically as an abundant form felt into themselves that they would be able to go out and share it again with this world. And if we continue to do that, then there's just going to be this overflow of love, and it's going to continue into this universe. And I'm seeing it. I'm already seeing it. You friends are doing it. And I'm just here to encourage it, every single day. Yeah. Banging the doldrum of infinity. Hallucinogens, for me, are not a party drug. They are a personal and spiritual thing. They can be fun. They can be social. They can be spiritual and personal. But they are always, what you put forth. Depending on what you put forth is what you're going to get out of it eventually. Cobra, inverse centaur says, I don't feel like I need something to help me feel like I can love people. That's a good thing, friend. There's a thing we're saying in that little book that goes, you shouldn't wait for a stimuli in order to elicit a loving response from you. You have the ability to put out a loving response, from nothing, from a negative state of existence even. It doesn't have to be a stimuli. But because, oh man, really? Reddit? Dude. Oh, dude. My heart. It's so rude. Fine. Reddit stream pooped the sheets. Yeah, Toast. And you were here to see my lamenting. I'll start us all over again. Fortunately, I have my title copy. Freaking Reddit, dude. Yes, just yesterday, Toast. Just yesterday. I was talking about, finding a new platform to stream on. And then there was like silence. There was silence when I mentioned it. And I was like, okay, maybe that isn't what is wanted. And I was like, okay, guess Reddit is the one. And I was just kind of like going through all of the the other Reddit streamers at the moment, and I noticed how many friends aren't streaming anymore. I was listening to A Bird in a Fish Cage, listening to his music and feeling into, this creator. And I was like, have I seen him streaming on Reddit like in a while? And I went and checked. It was like a month ago that he streamed or something. Went into his Twitch, and it's just, dude, I really want to believe in this platform. I want to believe in you, Reddit. I want to believe in you so badly. Love you, bro. Dusty is such a good performer. Dusty. Oh, is his name Dusty? Really? I mean, I feel bad for not knowing his name. But thank you for letting me know, Toast. Yeah, I was playing his music to my brother and my dad as well. He's such an amazing artist. And like the reason that I shared a little bit, of his work with my dad and my brother, and I was thinking and I was feeling into, what he's doing. He's making a new album at the moment. It's such a brutal pursuit, when you're making music. Goodness, it's crazy. Like I want to be making music, but then I see these creators that are so talented making these amazing songs and still, having self-doubt, I guess. And like feeling like their social currency is running out. Twitch is legit. It can be a monetary grind, but it doesn't have to be. Like for me, I don't worry about money, fortunately, Toast. I'm in a state where me and my dad have an understanding of one another, and we actually had this chat as well, Toast. I went and asked all of the things that you asked. Rip all the comments. Yeah, I'm done. I'm dying inside a little bit, but I'm gonna go and read them afterwards. So, what did I want to say? What did I want to say? Oh yeah. So like the whole, is the music too loud? What does he want me to do? Like we had a proper chat about these things, and it basically came down that he knows that I'm doing a lot for my mom, especially, and there is a lot of stuff that I've been doing on the farm that is keeping things afloat in my own way, if you will. So he's okay with me living here. And then the Patreon is basically going to be this slow trickle into being able to create better and better videos. Better and better videos eventually is going to allow us to have more to create with. So I have zero intention, like zero angst to grind for any monetary reason. I want to be able to share the things I want to be able to share and not feel like there are these limitations, if you will. Right now, I'm in a fortunate position where I have a room to sleep in, and we have, food on the farm. We have cows, so I'm not an active leech, if you will. I'm trying to justify myself. Social currency. I've been like juicing social currency into this environment, so things are good. Thank you, friends, for joining me here again. I'm Meltmore. It's nice to have you in the space. Hideous puppy. This is little puppy. Okay, puppy donkey. Thank you for joining us for a second. Jovan, thank you for joining us, my beloved friend. I saw 34 twice today. Sent you some love. Thank you for joining us. It's very nice to have you here. Rip all the comments. Yeah, friends, if you had a comment sent on the previous stream, please do send it again. It got yeeted. It got completely yeeted. What exactly how I feel about art? Rip all the comments. So annoying when it drops and you're right in the middle of saying something really poignant. Thank you. Jam, it bothers me as well, little bit, but Reddit, right? Like the thing is, this moment that we're sharing with one another right now is, I think, what makes Reddit as a streaming platform as powerful as it is. Because for us to be this many in a space, after not even knowing that we exist, like I didn't know you existed, and you're like, me behind the camera? Yes, I didn't know. You might not have known that I exist. And now because of Reddit, because of this, platform that we both ended up using, we have this opportunity to share this social currency with one another. And on that level, I feel Reddit has Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, DLive, I don't know, all of the other platforms beat. I really do love Reddit. It's such a cool platform. I feel like things are very slow in Reddit. Like when you see the amount of technological rollouts and other tech companies, especially other social media companies, Reddit feels like it's a little bit behind. Maybe it's because it hasn't been a publicly traded company, and I guess that's going to change soon. So we'll see. Hopefully, as money flows into Reddit, they'll actually be able to, both support their creators and be able to support, well, employ more programmers so we can get stuff done. Happy you exist, friends. I'm so happy that you exist. Siobhan, genuinely, my friend, like to the amount of love that you've shared with me throughout the last year, the amount you're inspiring me actively in my life, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for sharing so much of your social currency with me. How much wealth are we talking about? If I had a disposable levels of income, I would try and start not-for-profit version of healthcare and education for people. So my plan is to just, kind of go even harder. I want to like, and this is like 50 years into the future melts plans. I guess if I'm 70, I'll still be working. I'll definitely still be working in my 70s. Like, there's no switching me off. But then in my 70s, I want to start building a city, dude. And yes, education, healthcare, food, clothing, technology, all of these things will be accessible to everyone. And those that have proficiency in certain things will be encouraged to continue them. But we'll basically, at that point, I'm very sure most of the creative, no, I'm butchering it a little bit. Most of the work that humans will be doing in 50 years, I believe, will be creative work. Let's just say it that way. I love seeing people make stuff, but it fills me with self-doubt when I see someone who's just next level good. Comparison. Comparison, Jam. Comparison is the thief of individuality, uniqueness, the specialness. If we compare ourselves to someone else's creation, we're always going to have some sort of, feeling about it, because in comparison, you're trying to find some sort of balance, right? And if it's exactly equal, then you can feel, this person's creation is exactly like mine, so maybe they'll take my fans, maybe they're nanana stories. If the person's creation is better than yours, then suddenly now you're in a lower position. This person is so much better than me. And then if your creation is better than theirs, then it can create this sense of egotism of like, yes, my creation. You see, so it's all nonsense. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Like, no life is going to be more full, more unique than yours already is, friends. And that is something that Jem shared yesterday with us. I believe it was Jem, or it was Jenny. I think it was Jenny, actually. This this word that encapsulates this meaning of every single other person in your life that you've ever seen, out there in the world, lives a life just as full, just as wondrous, just as infinite as the one that you've been living. And it's very difficult for us to consider that and to take that into consideration when we're dealing with other people all the time. But that's the reality of the situation. Where there's freaking 8 billion infinities walking about, having dreams, having aspirations for what they want in life, wanting a significant other, to love, wanting family, to spend time with, friends, to dance with. Like, there are so many of us, and it feels like we're more disconnected than ever. I'm happy to be using these spaces to connect back with friends. We love you. You are loved. You are valuable. You are worthy. You are special, friend, and you should be here. Not here in this stream necessarily, but very much so in this infinity. And if you weren't, then this infinite universe would be less infinite. Quite literally. So thank you. Thank you for being here, friend. I love you. Mm, I don't understand German, but I'll try. Goodness. Like, if I'm gonna say some super offensive stuff in German right now, please don't crucify me, German friends. But mal sich, ich hab Hunger and mach mir sech ein Schnitzel. Las Kraken, German Angst. Yeah, I agree, yes. Are you Thor's brother? Nah, I'm Thor's, like, second cousin. if wealth is cheap, time and attention becomes expensive. What a good point that is, Naren. If wealth is cheap, time and attention becomes expensive. Absolutely. 100% you're right on that, Naren. And that's what we're seeing happening to society right now, where technically we have more than enough resources to go around. You know, every single person can be fed, every single person can be housed, every single person can have clean drinking water. That is something we've successfully achieved as a society. And we consider ourselves an advanced society, but we don't take care of all of our society members. But okay, let's not get into that tangent. So what's happening right now is that wealth is becoming cheap, and our time and our attention is what's being monetized right now. You know, like these platforms, Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. The way that they gauge their effectiveness is with how much time they can keep, how much attention they can keep at one point. You know, like if a user spends X amount of time on this platform and 2x amount of time on that platform could be considered more successful. So that's what they're trying to game you on, and that's what is was expensive. You know, our time and attention. And going into the future, that time and attention is going to be even more and more expensive, and that's why I believe creative pursuits are going to be the ones that trump the rest of the world. There's still going to be manufacturing happening, but creative pursuits, you know, creating things that are going to take up time, and can keep attention is going to be what's the most valuable. Your accent is addictive. Why, thank you, friend. You know, I would take you a extra slice of my accent and plate it up to you, but I guess that would be enough. If money wasn't an issue, I'd give sustainable energy, housing, and agriculture for everyone. That's gonna happen, Ninja. Like, it's gonna happen in a while. Oh, that's pretty gross, yo. Pippi brought me I think it's lost eye. I think it's poop. I'm pretty sure it's poop. Freaking Peppy. Hey. Okay. She didn't bring the poop back at least. I am a hairdresser, and I can agree that there is nothing of greater value than spending time and relating slash connecting with other people. Isaac, thank you for doing what you're doing, friend. Like, I feel hairdressing is one of those things where you're putting so much love, you know, into another human being. Like, you're touching another human being, you're, you know, washing their head, you're massaging their scalp, you're trying to take a lot of pride in your work, and you have a lot of attention to detail to not fuck their hair up. So there's so much love that goes into that expression. I believe it's the same thing with like massages, the same thing with being able to wash someone's feet, being able to give someone, you know, a face scrub, if you will. There's so much love that can be shared between two human beings if you allow yourself that experience. With a Pippi, mush. Thank you, Toast, for sending some love to Pippi. Nah, holding space for one another is virtually free. It costs us nothing but time, yet it can create so much personal growth and wealth. Love the message. Love you. Ninja Peach, thank you for sharing it with us, my friend. Thank you for sharing that message to the rest of the world. Hos, bro, hos to you. Up every day. We, man, the sun is blasting my eyeballs. Many of you don't know this, but Melt is a footballer. He's a solid center midfielder for Sporting Lipson. He's also known for his hair, yes. Yes, Leonidas, damn it. Damn it, Reddit. Why is Reddit doing this, Toast? Dude, Reddit's being rude, man. Oh, well, I guess we're gonna do it again. Maybe we're going on a front page roller coaster. You know, every single time we go live again, we go front page again, so I can get behind on comments again. Third time's the charm, though. Third time is the freaking charm. Womp womp. Those womp womp indeed. Hustle. Third time. Third time better be the freaking charm. Reddit, dude. Like, if I could visualize slash render just Reddit as a being, I would just smack down. You know, Haymaker Reddit, RKO Reddit, flying roundhouse kick, Reddit, all of the main, memed fight moves. I have to. Hopefully I'll come out victorious. Unfortunately, I just imagine Reddit standing up and shooting me. It's like with a batting gun or something, just bonking me with a bad hammer. I love you, Reddit. Please keep my stream up. Just for a little bit. Just for a little bit longer. Womp womp and detest. What a what an experience it has been. Because I feel very disconnected a little bit, Toast. Because I've been missing so many comments. It's like there's this surreal disconnect between the is that an odd B? I see. Thank you for the fellowship, Mel. Thank you for yours. Odd B. I believe your account is unbanned. Uncle Becky and Odd B are free. Yes. And now our streams are getting eaten. I guess, maybe the Highwire Hill subreddit is trying to make some space. It's like, bruh, there's no space for you here. Uncle Becky, Aunt B is back. You need to make space. Yo, Acrosanti in Arizona is a city that never was. Kind of like the one you want to build. It's the city that never was. I'm mildly confused about what you were saying, Mixed to Death, but that's amazing, friend. Like, I believe, and that's why I have like a 50-year time frame attached to it. Let's do 44 years. 44 years and 4 months is when it's gonna hopefully start getting done. Like, that's what my mindset is, at least. Because it's gonna take us some time. It's gonna take so much finances. Like, I'm going to have to probably give everything I've made my entire life to realize that. And I'm more than willing to do that. But we're gonna have to spend 44 years, grinding. So we can build a city. A city where there's one rule. And that rule is that love is true. And if you have to, ask yourself, can I or can I not do something? Just ask yourself, is love true? I'm gonna I want to try and think of something heinous to do, but I don't want to talk about heinous things. Purposefully step on someone's small toe because they said something mean to you. You have to ask yourself first, is love true if I'm going to step on this person's toe? No, it wouldn't really be. Was love true when they said those things to me? No, it wasn't really. But now I have the opportunity to, in this moment, create the reality that love is true instead of it not being true. How about that for a rule of systems? A system of rules. I believe if everybody can at least, reference that part of themselves, it should be pretty easy for us to get along. Runkle Schmecky. Who could that be? Runkle Schmecky. With a, billy goat with a can on his head. That Uncle Becky fella seem alright. I guess this Uncle Becky fella is kind of okay. This Runkle Schmecky. Dude, you're killing me, man. Love you, brother Ben. Thank you for joining us. Mixed to Death says they have a music fest there now, but the story is interesting. I'm fascinated. Maybe it was just before its time, Mixed to Death. Maybe they didn't have the resources to do it just yet because it's gonna take a lot, dude. It's gonna take so much. I cannot even imagine how much it's gonna take. The ideas I have are so out there as well. Like the stuff I see in my head is I don't even know if we'll have the technology to realize all of the things that I think about, in 44 years. But looking at the progress of things at the moment and taking into consideration the exponential relationship, the exponential trajectory of technology right now, maybe we'll have the technology to be able to realize it when we can. It's gonna be fun. Being able, I have a bunch of plans. I imagine the center of the city being a place of unity, quite literally. Like this entire city being built in a triangle shape, and then these triangle lines going to the center where there is this giant triangle where there is, social relations, if you will. You can have chats with people, smoke joints with people, go to a dancing area, dance with people, go to some sort of meditation, space, meditate with people, go to a yoga space, do yoga with people, dance exercising, like a place where we can genuinely be together. And that space should be, at least in my mind, completely devoid of this monetary currency exchange, and it should just be social currency exchange. Like, the reason we're here in this world, fundamentally in my mind, is to be with one another, to share love with one another. So I want to build a city where that's the truth. What do you do in this city? Well, we share space and love with one another. And you're like, and then? No. Like, these geeses are looking at me, head tilted. What's up, dudes? You like what I'm saying? You can join us. Uh, I mean, yes, you can join us. They'll be dead in 44 years. It's okay. But yeah, like, think about that. Just for a second, feel into what a reality, a society would be like, where the only expectation that, and if there is an expectation that people have of you, is to be lovingly, to share social currency with one another, to share yourself, your presence, your insight, your interpretation of this whole with others. Because that way, instead of having this, this person isn't worthy of my time because I could be using my time to do this, and this is gonna earn me this amount of money, and then if I have this amount of money, then I can buy this new thing that I really want, I'm sure I want it. It's gonna make me so happy if I get it. And so we can cut all of that bullshit out of our lives, out of our society, and we can just kind of get to the root cause of why we do all of these things. We try and impress people, right? We try and share more beautiful things with people. We try and share more beautiful things with ourselves. But if we can take away this financial aspect of being able to do all of those things, I believe that's going to be what's true in our society. Holding space for one another. Hey, Mel. Hey, Chicago Tank. It's nice to have you here, friend. I think it's been a while since I've seen you. Holding space for one another is virtually free. I think I read your message at least. Thank you so much for sending it again. Ninja Peach, love the message. Love you. Genuinely, thank you for sharing it again. You're right. I want to read it again even. Ninja Peach says, holding space for one another is virtually free. It costs us nothing but time. But from that we gain so much spiritual growth and wealth. It pays much more than it costs. Love the message, friend. Love is true. Thank you, Ninja, for sharing your message as well, my friend. If anything, the reason this message is resonating with you is because it's true in your heart as well. Small sustainable communities are gonna be a way. Oh, absolutely. And those small sustainable communities are gonna be very much, off grid as well, going to be locally powered, either by micro reactors. Like, we're building really good, almost, you could say, small nuclear plutonium reactors, which is great. That's gonna be fucking cool. But our solar is getting significantly better. Tide generators, wind generators, like, we're gonna be kind of fine in the next 50 years. We just have to, as a collective, decide that we are gonna be fine. I laugh at myself because I feel powerless sometimes. I feel very powerless because I'm a small little me, human being. What am I supposed to do with these global issues? But we as a collective can very much make a difference on these global issues. There are a few international communities in the BC mountains that are well established and thriving. Life goals for sure. Kelly, it is, my friend, and it's a part of. I believe it's a part of what humanity wants, and I think the powers that be, let's just say it that way, doesn't want that, because true communities, true consolidations where people love and care for one another makes the entire community safer, makes the entire community less vulnerable, and vulnerable people buy more things, vulnerable people get sicker quicker, vulnerable people, you know, are willing to live this life that capitalism expects us to live, and it's not right. I believe it's not right, and that's, I believe we're starting something great, you know, in these moments. Atomic Dart, it's been a while, friend. Thank you for joining us, man. Wait, wrong account. Am I on the wrong account right now? I hope not. There is one in India called Auroraville. Ooh, okay, right account now. Hey, Mel. Alexander, thank you for joining us, my friend. It's so nice to have you. Nice, nice, nice to have you. How are you doing, dude? How's life been treating you? People confuse wants versus needs, right? And it makes sense that we do that as well. Good morning, Dan. Thank you for joining us, Brother Bear. So nice to have you here. Look at this view, dude. Look at this view for you. So sick. Whew. Wants versus needs. Wants versus needs. It's, yeah, like it's, I'm happy that you're saying it in that way, because the way that I try to live my life is in a state of needlessness. You know, I want to need less. Actively, every day, I want to need less and less and less. But there are things that I want. And I feel it's counterintuitive, because even though I want to live into this state of needlessness, the things I want because I want to make more. You know, and it's this confusing, you know, infinity that just continues to melt into itself, that I have to kind of find balance in as well. And the way that I have found balance in that mindset is just in patience, you know, where I don't rob myself of my current life experience because I don't have the things that I want. I kind of see it as a journey to getting to those places, but I try and be happy and, you know, joyous and grateful for where I am actively in these moments. Thank you for bringing it to my attention as well, my tank friend. Those geese are going to follow you through your next spiritual journey and through infinity because you love them so much. Like, I don't not love them. You know, I'm happy that you're putting it in quotation marks. You know, I was just imagining our pristine, you know, melting city, you know, having turbulent floors. Oh goodness. You're gonna need help if you're taking mushrooms in melting city. Someone needs to help me. I'm melting. The city is melting around me. I was like, yes. That's kind of okay. Anyway, I was just imagining these gooses just like pooping everywhere, dude, because they're already pooping everywhere to the point where it's visually disturbing. On the farm, you know, where there's infinite poop space and there is means for the poop to become a part of the planet again. Those dudes, you would be surprised how much poop. Like I'm genuinely surprised. Like I'm sure they poop like one goose a day. You know, between the 8 of them, there's like just a goose of poop somewhere. I mean, like spread over a bunch of surface area. I'm sorry. So true. I'm flipping my life upside down from one of the considerable luxury for a more humble path, learning to grow my food, love and live with the land instead of just taking from it. Kelly, whew, man, you're inspiring me. I've been trying to do the same. You know, the last, I feel, 3 weeks. Yeah, about the last 3 weeks, I've been eating daily from the garden. We have a bunch. Well, like I've been basically getting myself like 2 spinach leaves, between 2 and 5 spinach leaves, depending on how spinachy I feel. An onion and some tomatoes, and that's basically what I've been eating with the rest of my like meat dishes. So I feel I could be doing more, but it's been very humbling to do just, you know, at least that. Thank you for sharing your journey as well, my friend. Hello, hippopotamus, hippopotamus, hip hop. Hippopotamus. Hippopotamus. There we go. I believe that's the way I should say your username. I think this is the first time I actually tried. Thank you for joining us, my friend. It's nice to have you here again. No, don't melt. Like melting to me is a good thing, friend. I believe that I'm actively melting. You know, and on a real level as well, within the infinity, we're quite literally melting into this universe. You know, when this body of mine perishes, it is going to become part of this planet, literally melting into it. Every word I say, every action that I've lived, every, you know, intention that I've put forth into this whole has been melting into it, you know, has been part and parcel of it. And that's what I mean when I say melting into it, friend. I can't wait until quantum computing works with renewable energy and basically tells us that we're dumb for not using it en masse sooner. I mean, that's going to be like one of the first. Like I feel a lot of people have already come to that conclusion. Unfortunately, Ninja. It's just like, but you know, in comparison to all of the other forms of energy generation, nuclear is like one of the cleanest, one of the least dangerous. It's just because of mismanagement, human stupidity, and you know, I don't think the one in Japan was human stupidity, but maybe placement, you know, should be taken into consideration as well. Like if your country has some evidence of, you know, large tidal waves coming into the city, maybe don't build it on the coastline, you know, or maybe try to build it inland. Maybe try to build it inland. You can still build it on the coastline, but build it onto the coastline, you know, that is close to the China border, if you will. That way, you know, no big waves can come from the outside ocean. Like, I'm over analyzing. Just humans are very intelligent, but we're also pretty stupid at the same time. I feel as a collective we're hyper intelligent, but as individuals we make stupid decisions sometimes. That's why it's so important for us to share ideas with one another. Why it's so important for us to actually have these conversations. One person alone cannot, I believe, cannot make an informed decision on the whole. And that's why, you know, just this is a note I want to go on. That's why the cult thing doesn't make any sense to me, because that's what it expects. One person needs to make all the decisions. I'll fucking lose my mind, like that. It's just like, oh goodness, our cult leader, you know, is how would I describe myself as crazy? You know, has hair pointing in every direction. His clothes are in rags, you know, on the floor. He is in the fetal position, rocking back and forth. Okay, guess it's over. Like, go away, please. Canada geese cause hell on golf courses. They really changed the game. Damn. I mean, I guess you can't go and get your bowl, or if there's like Canadian geese kind of in that area. So I guess it would change the game, Ninja. That kind of inspires me or fascinates me. Bro, what a view you've got behind your house. So picturesque. Thank you, Professor Impressor. It's very nice to have you here, friend. I'm happy that you're impressed. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Lol, geez. Hip Hop Anonymous? No, Hip Hop. Hip Hoppotamus. There we go. That's the way I believe it should be said. Professor Goo is being tagged. I think he was here. Kira Burp as well. Thank you for the Haywire Hill tag. Red Clicker, thank you for joining us, my friend. Oh, I thought you meant melt into the floor. That doesn't always go as well as you think. No. Usually not. Son! Why are you doing this to me, son? Ooh, I think it stopped for a second at least. I'm hip hop my rhymes are bottomless. Oh goodness toast, thank you, man. I think you. Well, sometimes I amaze myself with all the things I don't know, lol. Me and you both. Hip hopotamus. Hip hop. Hip hopotamus. Exactly where I went to made me smile. Time for a rewatch. Am I missing something? I think like maybe that's a reference. Toast, you know that references over my head, dude, like at Mach speeds. Like there's not even a moment. I didn't even think of like putting my hand out to catch it because that's how fast it went. The one rule of engineering that is unspoken is that you can't engineer humans. Mm. For some reason, there was this meme suddenly spawned in my head where it's this, Chinese genetic scientist who has already CRISPR modified two children. And he's like, Chinese genetic scientist wants to know your location. Pops up on Ninja's like screen. It's like, you're right though, dude. You cannot just engineer human beings. And there's no getting around human beings' nature as well in that way. That's why I believe that the only way to truly have a society that is aligned with love is to align the society with love and to do so in an actionable way that there's no room for interpretation. I believe the society we are in right now is so transactional that it makes us feel alone because it makes us feel like if we don't have something of value to transact, that we are valueless. And a lot of us feel in this world that there are people who bring things of so much value, when it comes to works of art, movies, TV shows, certain YouTubers, etc., like whatever medium you want to compare yourself to, that we feel we don't have any value. And this society like labels us all on how much value we contribute. So obviously that's going to lead to us being as depressed as we are as a society right now. We need to change it. We are changing it. Alright, your physical body will return to the earth and grow grass for the geese to eat. See, they will be with you through infinity. Oh, I have no doubt about that, my friend. Like technically, the same consciousness inside of me, that's looking out on this universe, is within them as well, looking out on this universe. In the same way, if I look at one of them, there is an infinite cycle happening between me and that goose as well. These exchanges have influenced me into eternity. You're right, friend. I agree completely. I'm having a great time. I'm so happy to hear that, my friend. He just spoke it. Great. Now it's out there. Now you've said it. Join Haywire Hill and tap the bell. Thank you, Uncle Schmecky. What's up, Cody? I'm not Cody's friend, but it's nice to have you here again, boo. The cordyceps are kicking in. I feel them wiggling in my brain. Lucky fish. I haven't had cordyceps just yet. I would like some. Cordyceps, technically, they figured out how to cultivate them. But originally, when we figured out that cordyceps are a thing, we found them on insects. So cordyceps are these fungi that basically infect insect bodies, especially if they become a problem. They become like there's too many of them, if you will. So they colonize the entire inside of this being's body. First and foremost, they colonize up down its spinal cord, controlling its brain, being able to manage its limbs. He uses that being to fly up to a high place, locks onto the little branch it sits on, either with its incisors or with its legs, and then it starts to colonize its entire body, like growing a little fungal body out of it and then releasing its spores to start that whole process over again. Cordyceps. And it's good for our brains, which is also kind of surreal. These fungi that can control brains happen to have compounds in it that are good for our brains. We live in a fucking cool universe, dude. I hope those cordyceps treat you well, man. How do you know what that goose is thinking? You don't speak geese, or do you? I mean, I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm pretty sure their mindset is mostly comfort based. Like they want to be comfortable, and I believe that's what their narrative might, be going about. So like if I take Pippi and I hold her in an uncomfortable way, eventually she's gonna be like, bruh, stop it. And I'm supporting her, most of her weight, with her little front paws, so I'm not hurting her. Of course Pippi is gonna be okay with this. Eventually it's gonna get, there we go. Now she's uncomfortable, right? So she's gonna start moving her being to compensate for that uncomfortability. So I believe she has narrative in her head as like, I'm uncomfortable. Now I have to do something to make myself comfortable again. So, in their mindset, if I get too close to them, they're not comfortable with that. So they start making noises, they start moving. If they're hungry, they're not comfortable. So they start eating something. If they're thirsty, they're not comfortable, so they drink some water. And technically, we're doing the same things. We've just set so many more standards for our comfort, and we communicate things that we are or are not comfortable about. So yeah, I can't say I know what they're thinking, but I have insight into what they might be thinking. Mm, I think it made me more focused when I play guitar. Unfortunately, we don't have access to all of those cool brands. You know, like you'll find in America, like for instance, Paul Stamets. Paul Stamets has a whole line of Euro big fun guy that he sells, and I would love to be able to buy some of them, but I don't think they ship to South Africa at the moment. Beep beep for freedom. Are you grounded right now? I mean, I just touched the ground, so I believe so. Man, what a moment! What an experience! I feel good. First and foremost, what do you feel? What do you feel about the social currency that we share with one another here? You know, I was tripping out. I think was it yesterday, this morning, just about how you friends have been showing up in this space. You know, the amount of love that you've shared, the amount of information that we have communicated back and forth to one another. It has been this social exchange of wisdom, of insight, of perspective, and it blows my mind. It really blows my mind that we've been doing this for 400 days. I was thinking in this context, you know, when it comes to social currency having been exchanged and it being quantified in this way, you know, as a friend said as well, in time. Like you have to spend time to have this social interaction, right? So, with the amount of time that we've been here and the amount of time that we've shared having these social interactions, eventually we're going to have a high score of how much time and intention and love has been shared amongst people in one space, you know, over the infinity of, you know, the lives we're going to live. And I believe it's growing more and more powerful. And I appreciate you friends for contributing in that. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. I look forward to seeing you friends again. Grounded to the continent you're on. I mean, I was born here. My family was fed from the calories that was grown here for most of my life. So, part and parcel, yes, I am very grounded. I've been here for another year and a half now again. Almost a year and a half. A little bit shorter than a year and a half. Almost a year and a half. So, I've been eating South African foods as well. So, I'm grounding myself, dude. Grounding myself actively. How'd you get there? I was born here, my friend. This social exchange is so much, has so much intrinsic value to me. To me too, Naren. Like it's surreal to me because it's gaining in value. It's like having this thing inside my head that is of infinite value, and that infinity is just growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the more we show up for it, the more surreal that infinity becomes, and the more we show up in that surreal, you know, space, the more we learn, and the more we learn, the more perspective we have, the more perspective we have, the more insight we have into why we do things the way we do, why we treat people the way we do, and the better we do those things, the better we treat ourselves, the better we treat other people. It yeah. I cannot. It melts my mind. It actively melts my mind. Where are you? I'm in South Africa, friend. How did your family get those calories? We have animals that graze on the grass, and we have, you know, vegetables that grow in the garden. We buy food occasionally with resources. Clever. Thank you for asking, friend. Me too, Naren. Super cereal. Yeah, it's crazy, Panda. It's absolutely crazy. And we're using technology for this absolutely insane thing, where we could technically be using this exact same technology to watch, just because of this, what came into my mind, like Happy Tree Friends over and over again and repeat. Not that that's a bad thing, but we could be doing either of them, and we're choosing to do what we're doing right now. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you share your wisdom again in the future. Garlic Stretcher, I stream every single day, friend. I've been doing so for 402 days. I'll definitely be seeing you again. I look forward to it. Garlic Stretcher. I'll try to remember your username for next time. You look like John Snowflake. Thank you, friend. I've been told. Thank you for recognizing the pattern as well. It goes back to the exchange of energy, the feedback loop. The more you feed, the more you gain, and the more you can give, the more you're given. I look forward to giving you everything. Ninja, everything, dude. Like, I'm not even joking about that. I will give everything because you friends are worthy of everything. I love you. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, my beloved friend. So much love to you.